Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, on roll call, Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Ms. Brown Knight. Here. Mrs. Rankin.
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
All right. I'm going to take 1 second here to have a quick remembrance. Darlene Judd, who used to be the tax administrator, recently passed away.
Oh, wow.
I don't, well, she was sick with or something like that, but just a
Moment of silence, yeah.
to think about her. All right, I need a motion and a second to excuse Dr. Lewis, and we're going to put Leah into that. I'm going to have a little explanation about that in 1 second here, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
Quickly on Leah, as some of you saw her notice about resigning, so on and so forth, I believe that she was, somewhat under duress when she did that, and I did not wish to accept it under those circumstances. I have since engaged her in conversation, about her thoughts and her feelings, and what she's requesting is to have a couple of meetings to sort of recollect herself, and she wishes to remain on council.
Good,
Awesome.
Okay.
good.
I think she's a great member of council.
Yeah, that's wonderful news.
What we're going to do tonight, because we do have sort of a time crunch here this evening, I'm going to run the agenda slightly out of order. We're going to jump to a motion to pay the bills, I believe is where we're going to go next. Okay, does anyone have any questions regarding the bills? So I'm sorry, just have to sort of do this, but
Thank you, Bill.
Rob, Randy?
Nope, they're good. Offline, if we can have a conversation about the Heritage, the Legacy Foundation paying back some of these things we did. So we can do that after.
All right, so a motion and a second, please, to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll pay the bills. Okay, just give me 1 second here to get myself in order. We're going to start on the committee reports next. I think, Rob, you are up.
Sure, happy to. So, the Finance Committee met on Monday, May 22nd, 2023 at 12 noon to discuss renewal of the village's health care plan for full-time village employees. Present at the meeting were Finance Committee members Rob Bartlett and Kelly Rankin, Mayor Bill Brown, Police Chief Rick Hines, Service Department Supervisor John Scherpenberg, and Administrative Assistant Allison Urick. The village's healthcare plan is via the Center for Local Government Consortium and is administered by Horan Associates. Fiscal Officer Richard Ford had been exploring some alternative ways of structuring the healthcare plan, but there wouldn't have been enough time to implement the changes given a decision needs to be made by the end of this month. Mariemont's healthcare plan continues to be comparative to other municipalities where Horan has collected the data. As such, the Finance Committee is recommending no changes this year to the 3 healthcare options that are offered. However, because of claims last year within the healthcare pool, the board for the consortium has approved the need for a 7.5% increase across all plans. So the cost incurred by the village will increase by 7.5%, as will the premiums paid by the employees. The increase will go into effect in August. Of note, there was no increase in premiums last year. The Finance Committee voted unanimously that the village should not make any changes to the 3 plan options which we offer, other than the 7.5% increase in premiums for the village and the employees. A decision is required at the May 25th council meeting in order to meet Horan's timeline for 2023, respectively submitted. Rob Bartlett, Chair; Marcy Lewis, Vice Chair; Kelly Rankin, Member.
Okay, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, we know what this is about. I do know that Rob and Richard actually has spent some time looking at options and alternatives to this. but apparently for this year, we're gonna go with this, and we're
Yeah,
gonna,
we just ran out of time for all
kind
the,
of ran out of time, and we'll explore more in the coming year.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I mean, we're all good.
I think it's good.
Yeah, okay. So a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll accept that report. Kelly, you want to do your own, or?
What's my options? I don't think I have any, right?
Well,
Tony won't make eye contact with me.
No, we need to,
I mean,
Keep going.
I'll do it if you want me to.
No.
Yeah.
The Public Works and Service Committee met on May 12th at 4 PM. In attendance were Committee Chairperson Kelly Rankin, Committee Member Rob Bartlett, Committee Member Randy York, Mayor Brown, Tax Village Administrator Chuck Barlow, and Village Engineer Chris Ertl. Discussed were the following 3 items. 1, recommendation for awarding contract for Hiawatha rehabilitation. 2, SORTA grant application. And 3, the OKI grant application. The committee discussed the Hiawatha Avenue rehabilitation bid results. The committee recommends awarding the contract to J.K. Muir for the base bid amount of $175,081. The committee further recommends the administration prepare the necessary legislation on an emergency basis. Next topic discussed was the potential project applications for the Transit Infrastructure Fund from the Southwest Ohio Regional Transit Authority, SORTA. After much discussion, the committee recommends applying for the following projects in the priority order. 1, the Grove Avenue rehabilitation. 2, Pleasant Street and Dale Park sidewalk project. 3, Pocahontas Avenue rehabilitation. The committee then discussed the OKI, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments grant programs. The committee recommends applying for the Mariemont Connector project from the Kleinger's feasibility study dated March 17, 2023. The committee further recommends that the necessary legislation be prepared to apply for the OKI grant program on an emergency basis as the applications are due June 2nd, 2023. Most importantly, the committee wishes to express its gratitude to Chris Ertl for all of his hard work. Respectfully submitted, Kelly Rankin Chair, Rob Bartlett Member, Randy York Member.
All right. Quite a few things in this. Does everybody, do you wish to add an explanation here to further confuse and clarify the?
Or I can, if people have questions, we can just answer questions.
Okay.
That's, I mean.
the only person who might
I
would be
was gonna
Susan, all the 3 of the 4 are in the
all
committee.
3 of us pretty know what's going on.
The only thing, so that we're clear on the Hiawatha Avenue rehabilitation thing, now we are stopping that at
Correct.
Indian View
That
for
is
the time
correct.
being.
Yes, that is correct.
So it's not going to impact what may happen.
Exactly.
So-
And we're going to be conducting a further study or something as to what we are going to be doing at that intersection.
That is correct.
Correct? Okay. Okay. Susan, I mean, you understand what
I do,
why we're doing it?
yes.
Okay. Anything else? Are we good? All right, a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye. Appreciate
I
you.
don't know why I'm tripping on your,
okay,
Mr. York?
sorry.
Aye.
Forgot you.
Say aye.
Aye.
Randy?
I was gonna ask Kelly, is Hiawatha coming off then?
Yes.
All right, and
So the
the
others-
OKI can come off?
Yes, don't you think, Chris? Yeah.
Are you leaving SORTA on, or is that coming off?
Are you doing okay on those?
You think that
All
can
right.
come off as well?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Legislation's already passed for the sort of dig.
Okay.
This is just to get the projects down, so.
Okay. Thank you. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's all good.
Okay.
All right, moving on then to resolutions.
Miscellaneous.
Pardon?
Miscellaneous.
Oh, you want me to do miscellaneous?
Um,
Well, I can
You-
do it.
you
I
can-
can
you
do it
can-
quickly. I'll do
okay.
it quickly. Village offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day, Monday, May the 29th. I expect everyone to be out at that parade on Monday.
So you can expect whatever you want.
Memorial Day Parade will be held Monday, May 29th, beginning at 8:30. That's when we'll actually kick off the parade, starting down in front of the Parish Center on Plainville Road. Village fireworks will be held Monday, on July the 3rd, beginning at dusk. That's July the 3rd now. Village offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day on July the 4th. We're going to scratch the one about the council seat.
Good.
And then, well, also, the council vote temporary giving to Chuck, that is still a work in progress. We're not doing that tonight.
Okay, we'll need to find out before Thursday.
Yes. Then the state audit will be Tuesday, June the 30th and June the 14th. All right,
Okay,
moving on to resolutions.
okay. This is the second reading to authorize the recodification of the Mariemont Code of Ordinances.
Okay, it's the second reading. It's the discussion reading. Any discussion? We all more or less
We're good.
good.
Okay. This is the second reading to appoint Tina Getter as a member of the Architectural Review Board for the calendar year of 2023 to fill the unexpired term of John Bentley.
Again, second reading. I think we all know Tina. We need to that moving along. All right.
Okay, this is the second reading, a resolution approving the update of the solid waste management plan of the Hamilton County Solid Waste Management District.
Again, second reading. Any discussion? Any questions? Okay.
Okay. This is the first reading to accept bid of J.K. Muir Corporation for the Hiawatha Avenue Rehabilitation Project, to authorize contract, and to declare emergency.
All right, you've heard the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
And Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
York. Aye.
Okay.
May we have the second reading, please?
To accept bid of J.K. Muir Corporation for the Hiawatha Avenue Rehabilitation Project, to authorize contract, and to declare emergency.
Okay, again, the second reading, I think we all know what this was. We just went through it. May we have the third reading?
To accept bid of J.K. Muir Corporation for the Hiawatha Avenue Rehabilitation Project, to authorize contract, and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
Now I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right.
Okay. All right, this is the first reading, a resolution authorizing application and contracting with the Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana Regional Council of Governments.
All right, that's the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
A resolution authorizing application and contracting with the Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana Regional Council of Governments.
Okay. Chris, do you have anything to add to this? I mean,
We all saw it.
Anybody have any questions about what this was?
I mean, we all saw the sheet that Chris and Matt put together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good
for
work.
doing that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Great work.
it's very
Yeah.
helpful.
All right, may we have the third reading, please?
A resolution authorizing application and contracting with the Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana Regional Council of Governments.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. I'm sorry about this, guys. This is why we had to do this now, because it's kind of time consuming. Okay, we're on
Okay.
appropriations.
The first reading, supplemental appropriations, and to declare emergency.
All right, we had the first reading, a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
May we have the second reading, please?
Supplemental appropriations and to declare emergency.
Okay, to discussion, anything, we're all good? All right, may the third reading, please.
Supplemental appropriations and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause, please.
So moved.
Second.
You know, you guys can motion second too.
Oh, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
You got it down to a system.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right.
Okay. This is the first reading, renewal of 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating for the tax years of 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028, and to declare emergency.
All right, you've had the first reading, a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third readings.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, may we have the third reading, please?
Second.
Or second,
Renewal
I'm sorry,
of
second.
3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating for the tax years of 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028, and to declare emergency.
Okay, I think we all know what this is. All right, third reading, please.
Renewal of 3.08 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitation for general operating for the tax years of 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, and 2028, and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second to suspend the rules and invoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. Where are we? Have one more of those?
That's it. Yes, one more.
Okay.
First reading, renewal of 1.0 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitations for recreational purposes of the Mary Elders Incorporated for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, we have the first reading, a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Ms. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
Second reading, please.
Okay, renewal of 1.0 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitations for recreational purposes of the Mary Elders Incorporated for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, that was the second reading. Any questions about this? No. No? No? Third reading then, please.
Renewal of 1.0 mil tax levy in excess of 10 mil limitations for recreational purposes of the Mary Elders Incorporated for the tax years of 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, and 2027, and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, a motion and a second
So moved.
for the emergency clause.
Second.
Getting a little goofy here. Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Time's your money.
We're doing great.
Brown Knight?
We're doing great.
Ms. Rankin.
Aye.
All right, Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. Talk about running through it.
So now we're back to our regularly scheduled program.
No animals were harmed in this filming?
In the filming of this, yeah, let me get back to where we're going to pick this up. I think we should go through quickly communications, and then you all will be up.
The aggregation was before the communications, right?
Well, all right, let's do that. Whatever you want to do. Well, we're doing better here than I think we anticipated. So if y'all would like to,
Sure. Since you're in a hurry, Maria brought the right person to go quickly. I do these a lot of places. My name is Dan Dieters. I am with Energy Alliance as a consultant. Maria is also a consultant with our company. What we do is, along with commercial energy to businesses, we do a lot of aggregations in Southwest Ohio, Middle Ohio, not too much in North, mostly in the AEP and Duke footprint. I'm not going to go through the packet that you folks have in your
Thank you.
packet. It's pretty much self-explanatory, but I just want to briefly touch on some of the things that are going on right now. So energy aggregation means we take all the energy needs of the community, all the homes, and we pool them together, and we take them out and do a RFP and get the supplier to come back in and provide that energy to the residents. And we run opt-out programs, which means folks have to actually say, I want to get out of this program. People say, well, the government should be in the middle of it. PUCO is right in the middle of it. They're already regulating your energy price. Now, Duke does not make any money on electricity. They make a little bit, but it's generally a pass-through. That's why our company, what we do is we go out to these suppliers, we bid the community, we get the pricing, we bring it back to you. Right now, and I don't know if you've read in the newspaper, Duke is gonna have about a 60% hike in their electric rate. So folks in communities across Southwest Ohio that are not in aggregation programs are gonna be paying about 10.2 cents a kilowatt hour for their electricity. So in June, a lot of the residents in Mariemont are gonna see a giant leap in their rate. We can't do anything about that right now for June, but if we manage to get it on the ballot in November, it all starts with a ballot initiative. If we get it on the ballot in November, we can stop it for next year because that rate is gonna be nearly as high next year. We already know that from all the auctions that have come back and the pricing that they have to work into their rate. So basically, we're gonna be saving people. We have about 25 or 6 communities we've just put on in the last 3 months between 6.3 cents a kilowatt hour and 7.1 cents a kilowatt hour. So that equates to between about a $30 to $40 savings per month for residents. So the programs work. They are really, really valuable to residents, and they've saved money before. They're really gonna save a lot of money since the price of energy has kind of gone through the roof. What we do as a company is we come in and we do a full informational program for your residents. We want to make every voter understand what this means to them, how the program works. We don't want any mystery when the program starts, because the more we do on the front end of it, the less we have to do on when the program starts to help people understand what's really going on. So we start with the ballot issue, and then once the ballot issue passes, we're about 99% pass rate on these. And once the ballot issue passes, we do all the work with the PUCO to get the village to be an aggregator, certified as an aggregator. We pay all the fees, we file all the reports, we do everything for the village to get the program up and running. Your folks don't have to do any filing of paperwork with the PUCO. We have a professional in our office that does that, and she's been doing it about 30 years. And what ends up happening is basically the village administration just ends up calling kind of balls and strikes on this stuff. We put it in front of you. So as soon as you are certified as an aggregator, we go out and we get the pricing, we bring it back to you, and we give you every option to price. Renewable, regular brown energy, a combination of either way, however you want to do it. We're the only consultant, probably in Ohio, that has programs running where there's brown energy only, there's renewable energy only, there's brown energy with a green choice, and there's green energy with a brown choice. So if you want the choice to do that, we have all those programs that we take care of.
But they would all have different rates, correct?
The green would be a little bit higher.
Okay.
So, but the regular energy program that you start with would be a base rate, and then the green would have an adder, and it would be told to the residents in their letter, their initial letter. So, terms and conditions. What we do that's different than some other people. So you can come and go from our programs whenever you please. So if you say, okay, I don't want to be in the program at the very beginning of it, and you opt out, and 2 months later you think, oh my, I should have done this. This is costing me $35, $40 a month extra. They call our office. We can enroll them at no fee at the original price.
And these are individuals?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes. And some small businesses, up to a certain level of energy usage, small businesses will also be involved. So when someone moves into Mariemont, they can call and get the same price. Say it's a year and a half or 2 years after the program started, they can call and get the same price at the very beginning of the program if they want it. So price of energy could have gone through the roof, and they can still come back and get the regular price. But we want to make sure we take care of the residents. We're not really interested in the supplier. We're going to go out and get the supplier, somebody that has the money to fulfill the contract, someone that can fulfill our terms and conditions that we make sure that they have on call, you know, the customer service aspect of it. The last thing I will tell you about why we're a little different is if you call our office and somebody's got some kind of problem, there's about a 90% chance they get me on the phone. So they'll say, there's a resident from Mariemont, they want to talk to you about the program. Right now, Liberty Township up in Butler County had their opt-out letter just drop in the last 2 days, and I've been talking to folks from Liberty Township and explaining to them how the program works. And you know, people call up and they say, you know, I don't understand this. Then we talk about it a little bit, and they all want to be in it at the end of the day because the pricing's so good. So as far as Mariemont goes, we're in a situation where you'd have to put it on the ballot. It'd take about 4 or 5 months to get certified, and we could probably get this started before next summer. And that would save folks.
So it wouldn't be on this coming November's ballot?
You could put it on November's ballot if you do it by August 9th.
And what is required again to make that happen? We have to, what do we have to do to put
You
it
have to
on?
just do a resolution passing the ordinance that, well, and I can give that all to you. There's a boilerplate ordinance that the Secretary of State has put together for these things with ballot language that, so we don't have any issues.
Yeah.
We use the stuff that they've already cleared.
Yep.
So I can give that to you, and all you need to do is pass that ordinance, get it to the Board of Elections, which I'll come and get it and take it down and file it with the Board of Elections.
Has to be there by what, August something or?
August
August
9th.
9th.
August 9, okay.
August 9, and then once the election's certified, we will start the process.
Okay.
And in this part of Southwest Ohio, Anderson, Newtown, Sycamore, you know, those areas, they usually pass pretty heavily because the programs are well known to be money savers.
So this is just electricity though, right? This is not
You can do
natural-
gas too.
Oh, you can do gas
Yeah,
too.
I would tell you to do both of them, and then, because we wouldn't be able to get the gas in the wintertime either, because you wouldn't be certified yet. I would say do it in case something would happen in the future, and you say, okay, at least you're certified, and you don't have to go back on the ballot again.
So let me understand this rate thing. So you basically pledge or lock in a particular rate for electricity or even gas for that matter, for doing gas. How long is that good for?
Well, we've done them for 2 or 3 years at this point, and it doesn't have to be 2 or 3 or 1. It can be 22 months. We could, if we see that we're getting a good rate up until a demand month comes, a high demand period of time, we may take it out 26 months, 28 months. But generally 2, and we know what the electric rate is gonna be from the utility for 2-year period. We're pretty sure that we know what those are, because a lot of how they do it is by auctions. They auction off a lot of the pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, to get to your rate, and those are pretty high right now. So we know that they have to. This year, we know until May of next year, it's going to be over 10 cents, and then after that, even if they auction the rest of the parts off a little bit lower, it's not going to jump below 9. We don't believe.
But this is just for residents, correct? I mean, the municipal buildings and our.
We're already doing that separately.
I know we're separately, but I mean.
Yeah.
we're-
So
we
I
have to
would
keep it separate apparently.
Yeah, but I would tell you, because generally most of the municipalities that we work with, we end up doing their facilities too, because to make a really long story short, you have good using buildings, good profile load buildings that use energy efficiently, and then you have buildings that may not use energy as efficiently. So what we'll do is we'll take those buildings that you would pay a higher price for, and we could throw them into the aggregation. And then that way we pull the bad energy users out, put them in the aggregation, which is gonna be usually a better price. And then the good ones get even a better price because they're not trying to prop up the other buildings.
But we could test it first to see before we had to make a commitment, is that right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we're aggregating now for the village properties, and we're in with, that's the Center for Local Government, so it's a consortium with
Yeah.
other communities as well.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's how we're doing it today. I mean,
Sure.
it's great to be able to have a second price to compare to, as long as we got that flexibility to say, okay.
Yeah, I
can look
mean,
at the price.
I would tell you this, is that your buildings, if I looked at your buildings, I could tell you, stick with the center, or you need to be out on your own. Because a lot of times in these consortiums, somebody's supplementing something else. So if you've got a bunch of small buildings, let's just say you're a smaller community and you have a bunch of small buildings, and Mariemont has 2 or 3 good buildings, you're supplementing those buildings from another community that, and you end up paying a little bit more, which you shouldn't be paying.
Right,
So what I always say, listen, if you can get a better deal by you being supplemented, that's okay, but if not, you need to be on your own.
Yeah.
I think what we should do, because, we've had this a couple of years ago, I don't know whether you.
We talked about it, I remember
Talked
that.
about it, and I know I had some questions then that I don't want to get into right now. We should probably refer this to Public Works. and-
Sure.
And that way.
I'm happy to come and meet anytime to just get folks' questions answered. That's what we do.
Well, the committees are open public meetings, and there'll be 3 council members there that are part of that committee.
Sure.
And you can re-explain, and they'll have other questions, and hopefully we can get more residents possibly if they want to come in and ask questions. Because I know part of I know you're probably familiar with this, part of what sticks a little bit on this is that people, they don't like the idea that they have to opt out. That they're
Yeah.
automatically in unless they basically, go through what they think is a gigantic rigmarole
Yeah.
to get out. They don't want to do that, even though it's been explained to them, it's not really that arduous to get out. However, mentally, it's a bit of a block for certain people.
There's some, and you have to give those folks a little bit of time to understand what's going on. I would guarantee you that there'd be a lot of people that like to opt out of the Duke price in about next 2 weeks and find something. And they should be finding something. There's places you can go to find a third-party vendor. Those are okay. The problem with those things that you find on PUCO or that you get in the mail is at the end of whatever term that is, you have to make sure that it's not a variable rate, because if you see here the word variable, that rate's going through the roof. And even if it's not a variable rate, at the end of the term, it's going through the roof. So you gotta really, really watch the end of those terms on those third-party offers.
Yeah.
That's I get a lot of people that will call up and they'll say, what am I paying? I say, well, and I direct them to the area, and they're like, well, 2, 4, 5, that's 24 cents a kilowatt hour. It's 5 to 6 times what you should be paying.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do, I'll assign it to the Public Works Committee, and you will be notified when she's going to hold the meeting, and.
Probably contact them to schedule.
Yeah,
a meeting.
get her, get,
Yeah.
Well, we're always available. Mario, will give you. You have the card? Okay.
Okay.
We see each other quite often.
Hope I didn't take up too much time.
No, you did great.
Dan, you did
really
great.
good.
You did awesome.
Really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
3 off, 1 on. No, my committee, we got 3 off and 1 on. So I'll get that information the contact information from you and, okey-doke. Thanks.
All right, getting back to our original schedule, the minutes, any question regarding the minutes?
Are we still on permission to address council?
Well,
We haven't got there yet.
We'll get to,
Okay.
get to that, yes. Does someone wish to speak? Don't worry, yeah, all right, the minutes, any question? If not, give me a motion and a second to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, minutes are good. Okay, we had the presentation. All right, any questions regarding Dan Copeland's Fire Department report? Straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Okay, the fiscal officer's report, kind of lengthy this time.
Things are going well so far.
Chance to go through. Yeah, things are looking reasonably good. All right, Rod Holloway's report. Rod's been a busy guy these last.
Yes, he has.
So as the new, did the new rates go into effect then? We passed, the Public Works passed those?
I don't think they'll go
I don't
into
think they're-
effect until,
Yeah.
30 days?
Yeah.
So it hasn't hit the 30 days yet?
Right.
I think he was thinking of doing it July 1st
Yes.
or June.
Or-
I was gonna
You
say,
would
I
have
thought
to
it was June,
double
'cause we
check.
I think
passed
it was
that.
June, yeah.
We
'cause
passed
it
that
was-
in May, in April, didn't we?
The first reading was the March 13th meeting. But I think it was the beginning of June.
So, okay. I just want to make sure we get those in place. I mean, we,
Oh, he's
Trust
not
me,
gonna miss
if
an
anybody's
opportunity.
on it,
Yeah, he'll be
he's on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
he doesn't come here anymore. The audience during our meetings.
Well, no, well, you know, he always asks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's,
He always asks me if we need him
Yeah.
here.
he's got a couple things going on
just seen him.
at home, and, yeah, he's always, he's here every day. He's on the job, trust me.
Yep.
All right, what is this last one, the village office, the waste, there's a communication regarding, I guess this is our composting deal?
Right.
Yeah,
It's just saying we're doing a good job.
yeah.
And on the back.
I do have did anybody fill out the form that they requested? Did Allison please fill out the very brief form below if you would like your community featured. I think we'd probably like our community featured, so I'm just wondering if,
Yeah. Well, we can fill it out.
I'm just wondering if.
No,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It never hurts.
Yeah, it never hurts. All right, we've already paid the bills, so permission to address council.
No pressure, Kim.
Hello. I know everyone. Kim Beach, 10 Albert Place, resident of Mariemont. Also the owner of Lucky, who is a 2-year-old golden doodle. And the reason for my visit today, obviously Mariemont is a hugely dog-friendly place, and informally I've had a lot of conversations with people about a potential dog park. So I'm really just here today to request, I guess, a formal request for an investigation of a dog park here in the village. And wow, I looked at the benefits today of a dog park, like just beyond your imagination. So I came up with a little acronym,
Oh, gosh.
and it's BARK. So
So
it's BARK. I would have brought my dog.
B-A-R-K.
Yeah. So anyway, so
Well played.
B is for builds relationships between residents, because when people are outside with their dogs, they talk and get to know each other. And interestingly enough, there was a statistic that people with dogs wave like 89% of the time to their neighbors. People without dogs, 79%. So we're more friendly when we have dogs. A is for active lifestyles for residents and their pets. They're obviously all out walking. And I mean, honestly, because I said to Ted the other day, I was like, wow, if we didn't have Lucky, would we really walk as much as we do?
Bingo.
And the answer is no. R stands for roam. An open dog space allows dogs to roam freely, uninhibited, which helps their social skills. And also a little tidbit that I learned today, that it helps families that have dogs that might be a little rambunctious, that if they have a dog park to go to, it seems to settle them down a little bit, and not as many dogs are euthanized. There is a statistic for that, I swear. K, I'm giving a little liberal license here. K is for community. So obviously a dog park promotes the walkable neighborhoods. It just enhances that sense of community. There was also a statistic too of when people are out walking dogs and know each other and are in community, then safety is better for a community. So, any questions?
Well, Tim, as you know, this topic, it comes up occasionally.
Is it by the same person?
Yeah. Okay. And of course, it always sort of boils down to, it's a great idea. Everybody thinks it's a good idea, but where is it going to go? Have we got ideas on that?
Yeah, one of the places we saw originally was kind of, I don't even, where would you call that? My first place that I kind of sent to you. Like on Wooster Pike, where that little pie goes in,
Yeah.
kind of near where that goes down to the lake, I call it, anyway. From Wooster Pike.
Pike? Yeah.
But anyway, better thought though was when we were at the Tot Lot the other day, can we just extend the Tot Lot down to Wooster Pike over? I mean, it is a graded hill. We probably could fix that maybe, but I would think that's a pretty natural area. I mean, there's already a park across the street from the people that live there. I mean, parking, I know, is probably an issue there.
Well, you're supposed to walk your dog there.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well,
I guess I'd just be concerned about being that close to Worcester. But
Oh.
you'd have to take that into consideration with the
yeah.
fence.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we were thinking like South 80, but we want to make it approachable for older people too. And I think that South 80 kind of takes that out. What do you think?
Especially now, because you're supposed to park at the top, you're not supposed
Yeah,
to park-
exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, to
And
come
there's a
back
lot
up.
of off-leash.
Yeah.
wa- down
Yeah.
there.
I don't know. I mean, is there is there someone we can, like, I can look into, like, some dog park expert? I don't,
Can I take that one on?
yeah,
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
I'm in with you. I'm not taking it from you.
Okay.
Don't even think about it.
awesome.
I think
Awesome.
this is a committee
Right
assignment.
up-
Oh, it's got Kelly
Yeah.
written all over
You
it.
know, and I'm happy to help raise money. I was thinking maybe we could have a dog calendar. The dogs in Mariemont.
Dogs of Mariemont.
Yep, yep.
It's funny that you talked about walking. I was just having this conversation with somebody last night, 'cause as we walk at 11, well, you know,
Oh,
we see
yeah.
you and Ted, or Ted and Lucky
Yeah,
on a regular basis.
mostly Ted and Lucky, late
Yeah.
night.
And, but like in the middle of winter, when everybody's inside all like, and it's a beautiful starry winter night, I wouldn't be out there for those dogs.
Yeah.
But it gives you an appreciation for,
Yeah, or if we could talk to
Sure.
John Scherpenberg and see if he can come up with any place. I read, like, it basically needs to be a minimum of an acre, it said, from what I read today. There's a lot of research on dog parks out there. So,
An acre.
yeah, I don't know if that spot there is an
A lot
acre.
of them, you know, because they have the two fences to, you know, you can come to this
Oh,
fence
yeah,
and
the
then go
double
into
fence.
the two, yeah.
Yeah.
Small dog, big dog.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
Dog, big dog.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
huh, everybody on council has a dog except one person.
He's got his daughter's dog.
He doesn't, it's
His
not
daughter's
his dog.
He takes
All
care
right.
of it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Kelly's gonna, you're taking it on? All
Well,
right.
we'll take it on together.
Oh, yes.
But it's in her
Oh, yeah.
committee, yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's in her
No, no, I'm totally in.
So get all those facts and figures together.
Okay, yeah, like, well, so what's the next step?
Work with Kelly and come together.
Yeah,
She'll
she'll-
set up the meeting.
she'll
then.
set a
Get-
meeting.
Get the data, though, you know, like you said, let's find a spot.
Okay.
that Meets the
Yeah.
criteria you've talked about.
That's the tough, yeah, that's the tough part, I
Yeah.
think. Well,
We can start that conversation, you and I, and then we'll go
I
from
think for
there.
that meeting, though, you ought to hold that meeting and allow people to bring their dogs in.
Yeah,
into here?
yeah,
why not?
absolutely, there'd be.
Dog-friendly
and-
meeting.
Park in
I
the
like
park.
it. All right.
Okay.
Oh, there's so much we could do with it, so,
okay.
all
There
right,
really
thank you
is.
very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Just
Thanks,
make-
KP.
I'm sorry I was late, I had 6:30 on my
No, you're good.
Well, no,
You
we.
came, you showed
we
up just in
moved it.
time.
Now we moved it up.
Just in time. All right, thanks.
All right, see ya.
All right, so where are we? I think
I think we're done.
yeah. One last quick thing. Chris, I know that you had this letter that you and Matt here put together regarding the OKA grant. Did you want to tell us anything about this quickly?
That was, yeah,
I know we passed it already, and nobody seemed to ask a question about this, but there was some good information in here.
oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, about,
Yeah, how we can apply for other matching grants and
Yeah.
the costs going forward. The revision was to get the 2027 dollars in there, so that's inflation included.
well, then also, I think also, because the match is substantial,
That's,
Yeah,
and
Right.
how we would meet the burden of the match.
yeah, and that's definitely more Matt's department, but yeah, the village has to pay we're estimating it's $30,000 to design the the Miami Avenue intersection. But I think the local funders, the donations,
Yeah,
will be
yeah,
able to
would come,
fund.
yeah.
the
So
rest.
what's the timeline for that?
It's out there.
So yeah,
Is that the one with Kleinger's and Choice One?
so Choice One has given us a price because it was included in the grant application that we got for ODNR. So I've talked to them.
For that intersection?
Well, this is to design the trail along that length.
Yeah, but remember how we talked about we want to do this
We need to
now?
do an
So-
intersection study, but that's not, that money's not in this, I don't think.
Yeah, so the design for that is not part of what Choice One is doing, is that,
Not right now.
okay.
No. So let's see, go back to the chart. The $30,000 that Mariemont needs to come with is what we've kind of slated as design for the intersection.
Yeah.
We still need to engage Choice One in design of the path between Pocahontas and Miami.
Okay.
That price is in the ODNR, and that's gonna be part of the match in the 75-25.
Yeah.
Right.
So while they do that, we could ask them for a price to look at the intersection as well.
Wow.
I could also ask for a price for Kleinger's.
Okay.
I haven't done either one yet because I'm working on the applications for
Yeah,
TIG,
Sure.
but that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
okay, because I think we all remember in the Public Works, we said, once you get those applications in for sort of OKI, we'd love to get, those two sound good, Choice One and Kleinger's, to say, what's the cost to do a study of that intersection to help us figure out? Miami.
The cost of the intersection?
Remember we talked about just doing the study for that intersection?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Really,
We said we
what to
wanted to do
do.
that this summer, so that we
No, I
know.
know. Yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
I'm aware. I was gonna
So I'm just saying, once, because I totally agree. Priority number one, let's get those applications in for SORTA and OKI. But once we're done with that, is it possible for us to go ahead and get a bid, a quote, from those two at least, to
Yeah.
study that thing?
Yeah, I don't think that should be a problem at all,
That's great.
so.
Okay.
If,
Do we need any kind of things do we need to pass anything to do that? Just to get bids?
no, because I think the design fee is gonna be easily under 50,000. I'm thinking more like 25 or 30,000, so I think that's just
Okay,
that
so-
was the
some
original,
quotes
I
and
think, yeah.
the more is the steps of what we need to do to design it. So, traffic counts on all legs, during AM, PM peaks and the weekend, stuff like that. So I just need to figure out the list of things we need to design it, probably get some opinions from the other firms.
Okay.
And then go, okay, about how much it's gonna cost, guys, and we'll get two proposals. We just need to compare them, so that's where the list of requirements comes in.
Yeah, yeah. Because that, again, the outcome of that study could impact where the design of the path between Pocahontas
Sure.
and Miami is. So we just, it's like a sequential thing. We need to know where it's gonna end up on the Miami end to be able to. do
Ideally,
the rest of
exactly
the
right,
design.
yeah. Otherwise, we're designing to one point, and it could change if we,
Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll try to get one faster and the other one slower, see if we can meet.
Pump the brake on the one while we're sitting there hitting the accelerator on the other one. Yeah.
All right,
Wait. Go ahead, if you're done.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there was just something on the task list. So,
well, quick, make it quick.
yeah, I know, no, I got it right here. So, should we put on there, we need to hire an IT person to take behind Eli, right? I mean, seems like we should have that on our test list to say, okay, somebody, I know somebody's working on it, but we should have that identified. And along with that, we've also talked about, we need a recommendation on the village website by September. Because if we were to go someplace else, that, Eli's warned us it could take 6 months to migrate. Because, so we talked about those two things from an IT standpoint, since she's saying she's done at the end of the year. We really need to utilize her as much as possible now while we can, and Allison as well, because Allison's very familiar with that.
Yeah.
So I would think we'd have
What's
to have
up?
those
We're
two
already
things.
kind of, yeah, I mean, we're already looking, if you want to add it to the list.
Just add
I
to the
mean,
task
yeah,
list. I think it's good
already
to
in the
make sure we're
works.
doing that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Similar to that, so I think we put money aside in the, for the concourse, the trellises, right? Didn't we?
Yep,
set aside?
80,000.
So shouldn't we have somebody, not now, but somebody by December have some quotes? So we know when we do the appropriation for the Permanent Improvement Fund for 2024?
We have one.
Well, we already had some, we had some quotes that,
Yeah, but you're gonna need to
originally.
have more than
No,
one because it's
well, you're
over
gonna have to
50,000.
update those, because those are not gonna be good
Right,
quotes
right.
now. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, can we put that on the task list?
yeah.
To say, hey, let's
When are
get.
those quotes from? I'm sorry, Rob.
No, sorry.
Who are they from?
No, I was just wondering when they were from.
Oh, geez, months ago now.
Yeah, the Legacy Foundation that was one of their projects they were looking at, and we got a quote, and it was
Oh,
about
okay.
150,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought it was six.
Yeah, and so.
But we don't have
because-
enough now, anyway. I mean, I think we thought this would be a 2024 project anyway.
And that's a rough quote too, because it's not clearly decided exactly what kind of work is gonna be done with what kind of material, because there's.
Sure.
at least two or three.
There could be wild swings in the
Right,
price.
right, so that's why I think we should put it on the agenda to say, we need to have quotes, we should have quotes in our hands by December.
Yeah.
Including all those things you just talked about. You
Yeah,
know,
for
what are the
sure.
different
Absolute-
design elements, blah, blah, blah. So you start backing that schedule up, it's like, okay, we need to start, developing that stuff this summer. So we can get good quotes to be able to make a decision come December for the Permanent Improvement Fund. And Bill, you had another idea I thought was a really good one before.
Really?
Yeah, I know, it's
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, please write that down.
Did you?
Please write that down.
Okay.
Hurry up, she's gotta get out of here.
Sure, you're always delaying.
6:48.
So, EV charging stations,
Yeah.
you talked about that.
Yeah.
And there's grant money out there
We,
for
we,
that.
no.
we had Donovan Energy in here, they're working on it. We got
Okay.
4 locations.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact,
We are
Put it on-
in
Put it on the
process.
task list. Let's just make sure that, we're
Okay.
keeping track of
I
this stuff
talked
and where it's
with
getting
Bill
done.
Swinwimper about it today, in fact, and he's meeting with somebody, or his guy's gonna meet somebody from Duke here in the next couple of days to shake down, the lines to charge the damn things.
That's
to
great,
run them.
that's great.
So, yeah, we're well on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so let's just have those 4 things to the test list, is all I'm asking
Got it.
for. Done.
Got it, okay.
Thank you,
See?
Susan.
Look at that, I got plenty of time.